Hey guys, welcome back to Trav Paints. We're making some spooky terrain today. It's a little later than Halloween, but I found this at the dollar store not too long ago and I figured we ought to make something out of it. So grab your foam, your glue, a knife, and some craft paints. Let's get crafting. Alright, grab that spare foam that you got lying around, styrofoam, anything from your box, your Amazon boxes and the like. Uh, we're just going to use it to build some structures up here. Probably should have saved this foam here for something else. It got a neat design on it, I guess. But it'll work. Alright, I want to put basalt columns along some of these edges here. Give us a little bit of texture, a little bit of interest. Maybe we can even get some inside. And then we'll put a big roof on it. Not a roof, but a top sort of thing. Alright guys, we're just going to get the outline of the top there. We're going to cut it out and then cut it out a step or two bigger each time and get ourselves a nice sloping outcropping that we can make our top out of. All right, let's grab that spackle and we can start putting some of these columns in. I'm gonna put them in here around the skull and then around the sides too. Yeah, this is going to help add some texture, some detail to the model. I got an idea from these from the Giant's Causeway. And when I was looking at that, you can see that none of the columns are perfect. There's no real straight lines. So it's okay to make our pieces that way too. Nothing's got to be perfect. Just get an idea, run with it, see how it looks, and a lot of times it'll come out all right. I'm pointing right here to show you that there's a gap there. We're just going to fill it with this little piece of foam blackboard. Alright, so just off camera, this is going to be the top side of our little hill here. I just went through and scraped away this foam so that we didn't have these big flat areas in between. This part's fine because it's going to be glued down. And then just made a couple of little, what do you call them? Stalactites. Here, just added some little offcuts of foam. So, do that. Bam, once that's all dried up, get that glued on. And then we're going to use some of this modeling compound. I bought a bunch of these last year. Apparently they have an expiration date, October 23. Let's see, that's before 9 months. So fingers crossed it's still good. We'll hit the floors, finish up kind of our cracks here, and then hopefully on the painting. Yeah, I put a little bit of Mod Podge in there. I'm not sure you even need to do that, but I wanted to make sure it would be gluey enough to get that top stuck down without having any more problems. And by the way, the expiration date on there didn't seem to make any difference this time. So the stuff's great. If you're going to think about it, Geek Gaming Scenics modeling compound. Alright, we don't want this side to be flat, to be sheer like this. I'm going to use it's going to be sitting out on about a map or a board or something like that. And I don't have anything to just butt up against here. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut in like this. Not too deep because this is still pretty thin. We'll do some of the plaster up to here, and then we'll use the plaster to make some molds,
and we'll have rocks jutting out. Just so we're not, it's flat. It's flat and flush. We don't want that.
Change of plans. We're not making rocks out of plaster mold this time. We're going to do it out of some bark. I found this walking around out here. Got a bunch of forest by me, and this was on a tree that had already fallen over. So I brought it home, still stuck it in the oven, get it nice and hot, clean it off, and then let's use it. Let's try to make some rocks out of it. Alright, we're just going to get the rest of this modeling compound on here, and then take your wet fingers, popsicle stick, whatever you got, make some textures on there that you like, smooth out what you want. And I've been making a piece for the top of this, a real tall roof building, but I made it way too big. So, change of plans again. I'm just going to take this cup and I'm going to make a little tower out of it. We'll see how it turns out.
Alright guys, here's one of the super fun parts. We're going to dry brush everything. Get a big fluffy brush, some paints. We're going to do kind of color matching here. Gray, brown. See how it turns out. Alright guys, we gotta get some more color on this thing. So I mixed up kind of a purpley blue here. And we're just gonna hit all the recesses that we can, definitely the underneath. Just spray it just to give us some color. Because right now, boring. Alright, so last night I just came through a couple more browns, picking out some highlights on here, hit the sides, the dirt. Made this skull nice and creamy. I'm not sure how good you guys can see that. Used some stippling on that. It's about the first time I've done it, so came out really well. Some grays, highlighted the rocks, threw a little more violet in the recesses there. That's about it. I think the last thing I can say is how excited I am about this tower. It's a darn plastic cut, and it looks pretty cool. I'm gonna go to some glamour shots right now at the end, and thank you guys for watching.
I joined up with the group back in Hayfield. They asked if I was looking for adventure. Aren't you tired of being a farmer? The old man's paying us a fortune just to get him safely to some old hill out in the wilds. Shoot, I couldn't help myself. I was dead tired of raising wheat. I could have done anything else at that point. So I joined up without asking a second question. That was a mistake. We set out the next day. Took us about a month of travel, on and off the road. Lastly, through the densest forest I'd ever seen. But we found it. A lone hill. Not a tree or bush for hundreds of feet around it. Odd rock formations. Had a shape if you caught it just right out of the corner of your eye. We set up camp and asked the old man, why do you want to come here? He told us we had to dig. And dig we did. I'm not sure why. Our job was done. Maybe we felt bad just leaving him out there. Maybe we already knew we couldn't leave. Some days or weeks later, we dug to the skull. It was massive. And around it were ruins. I don't know what kind. That night, we decided we'd confront him, the old man. Find out what this was really about, why we were still here. But as we sat in camp that night, we noticed something. All our gear, tents, bedrolls, foodstuffs were still in our packs, unopened, covered in a thick layer of dirt. We looked back towards the hill to see ourselves digging. Well, our bodies at least, completely emaciated. Nothing but skin and bones. I still don't know who that old man was, but I wish I had just kept raising wheat.
I smite ye, foul creatures! Ah! 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 Huh? Are you guys still here? Video's over! Get out of here!